Okay, so a new Government Accountability Office report proves that the K-shaped economy is based on billionaires forcing their workforce onto welfare. So 20% of the US population was shown that the people on food stamps and Medicaid, 2/3 of them were working full time, most in the private sector, and mainly in like FedEx and rideshare drivers and fast food restaurants and Amazon and Walmart. And the these companies are also breaking labor law and workers' rights. So the in these 20% of the workforce, you have 13 million on Medicaid and 10 million on food stamps. So if you multiply that by 5, you're getting 50 million on food stamps and like 5, so 50, 65 million on Medicaid. So this number has gone up significantly in the past 6 years, 5 years, and so you have the Walmart family, Walton family worth $485 billion, Jeff Bezos worth $257 billion. So the reason they're so rich is because they refuse to pay their workers, and instead they're relying on government subsidies for their workers to survive, and try to raise families. So if you have children, I'm guessing that increases your poverty level, income level for poverty. So Walmart's profits increased 50% and had 16,000 workers on Medicaid, which is an increase of 55%. So their profits are directly proportional to the increase in Medicaid and food stamps. And so this shows that even though the economy is supposedly growing, it's at the expense, the profits are benefiting exponentially the owners, the billionaires, and then forcing increased tax subsidies as welfare for their workers. So it's making people more people more poor, and then making a few people way more rich. So Jeff Bezos got 670% increase. So that's like doubling their profits every year, pretty much. And then 12,000 people on food stamps and 11,000 on Medicaid, tripling those numbers. And then you had the biggest increase in the rideshare firms because they're independent contractors. So they don't even need to be paid overtime. And they had 22,000 people on food stamps, or 23,000. And then of course the fast food restaurants, and the fast food restaurants, they rely on franchises to hide their responsibility, which is what Walmart does a lot too. They subcontract out, and that's how Amazon works too. Is they force their sellers to have the lowest price. So McDonald's was fourth, needing food stamps, 6,700. Burger King was ninth. Taco Bell was 14th. And then you have FedEx, tripled the number of workers needing Medicaid to 3,800. So it was sixth on the list of workers needing Medicaid, and sixth on the list of workers needing food stamps. It's about 5,000, and that number doubled. And then the manufacturing sector and construction sector had the highest number and highest percentage on Medicaid, but not based on any individual factory or firm, but it's the seasonal variation in construction, so it's a seasonal job. So, I guess, so this is the national total. Okay, so that would be, I thought that was for the 11 states. Washington Post, you gotta have payroll. We'll go. Okay, so the GAO estimated 13. Is that for all the states or just 11 states? Must be the whole country. Yeah, that's the whole country. Okay. That makes sense. Alrighty, so that proves that the so-called growing economy is actually this K economy that everybody's talking about. That the reason there's been such an increase in billionaires is because there's also been a huge increase in poor people. In other words, the billionaires are getting rich by making people poor and forcing them onto welfare, tax subsidies, and then they're blaming the poor for being on welfare. So it's like a win-win for them because they can kick them down and then blame the victims for being on welfare.